Hello and welcome to Rookie Ninjas, where we explore day trading futures on the NinjaTrader platform, identifying supply and demand and reading price action, because making money in your pajamas should be a legitimate life goal. Alright, welcome to our Strategy Builder series. This is actually our first entry and we'll be keeping it real simple. I actually saw this set up this morning, or not this morning, this afternoon. But essentially, my volume indicator just spiked. Now, typically when you see something like this, even though you'd love to say, well, as soon as it spikes, maybe I can jump in, it moves way too fast. But that doesn't mean that we can't react to what happens afterwards. So what I got to thinking was, if you had an EMA set to a time period of 1, and you had a second one, what you could possibly do is you could find the point when price is done moving in that direction, and maybe we can catch some sort of reversal by finding the cross point where two moving averages meet. That'll be the idea, and what we're going to have to end up doing is, well, using the Strategy Builder feature on NinjaTrader to see what kind of code we can put together to catch these moments. Alright, so first things first, we're going to go over and open our Strategy Builder. We have a new strategy. We can name it something like Volume Reverse. Since the VOL indicator is going to be our main identifier. Alright. Go ahead and add a few inputs here. This is going to make our life a whole lot easier later on, and it's going to help us to back test this strategy as well. Alright, that should be good. And we'll be using, let's see here. On second thought, we would actually need add one more step, make this a two-step system, and we're going to add a variable. This is essentially what's going to be what kicks this strategy into motion. So we can name this one entry setup, and we're going to change it from integer to boil, and we're going to leave it as false. Gotta be careful to leave spaces when you type these names. It will give you an error report. Backspace, and we're good. Alright, first things first, we have to set some parameters that are going to make our bool true. I think I called it a boil before. Whoops. So we're going to take our volume indicator, and essentially we're going to say that once our volume indicator is greater or equal to our volume input, which we have set to 5,000, that's going to be the switch that's going to make our bool true. Alright, for our second set, assuming that our bool has been made true, next we'll need the action that's going to set this off. So we'll choose our EMA. We're going to use 2 EMAs, and this first one we'll go ahead and set it to our price value. It'll remain at 1, and essentially whenever this EMA crosses over our EMA 1, which will have our setting of 5 like we did before, that's going to trigger a long order. Actually, on second thought, because we have a strategy that's built on bar close, it would be better if we instead set up our indicator to have 2 steps. So we're going to recognize that our EMA will be less than our second EMA. So price will be less than EMA 1 2 bars ago. And then so long as the following bar price is greater than EMA 1, then we will enter a long order. I think setting it up like this is going to just help the strategy play out, give it room to breathe so it doesn't have to react in an instant. And yeah, see how it works out. That'll do it for a long setup. In order to make our short, just duplicate your set so that set 3 comes out being identical to set 2. The only difference is we'll switch these signs around. So long as price is actually greater than our EMA 1, and then it becomes less, then that'll trigger our entry for a short trade. Alright, before we move on, let's add a couple extra inputs. We're going to set our profit targets, maybe something like 20 ticks, and our stop loss to 20 ticks sounds good. That way we can go ahead and add a target as well. We use these inputs so that later on in the strategy, if we did want to change what our targets was, maybe what your moving averages that you're using, it makes it real easy to do, especially once you run it through the analyzer. Compile our strategy, good to go. Alright, here's the fun part. Let's see if it actually worked. Alright, now to set up our strategy and see if it works. Enabled, looks good, and nothing. Oh boy. Oh, it's embarrassing. Let's see if we can figure out what went wrong. Alright, let's try a different strategy. We're going to open up our analyzer and see if this strategy is picking up on anything. Alright, select our strategy, leave it on NQ. We had it on the minute charts, actually the 30 seconds. Alright, 119 trades in about 2 months. It's not bad. Let's go ahead and change this up. We're going to switch our chart to a 30-second chart and see how that compares. Alright, we're positive, sitting at 59%, not too shabby. Now we're touching on quite a few features here. The strategy analyzer can be found, well, the same place where your strategy builder can be found. Now if we look here at the trades taken, we're going to take this a step further just because we want to maybe see this strategy in action and see if it's actually working. Sometimes this data is a little convoluted, and when you actually go to actually apply it, you have a strategy that's just not working at all. I'll try it again here to see if I can get some trades to show up on our chart, but unfortunately I couldn't get it to happen. So what we're going to try doing is we're going to go down, let's see, we're going to go down to our connections, disconnect, and we're going to see if we can actually upload one of the trades that's showing up on the strategy analyzer. So if you go here to historical data, add whatever data you might need, download it, continue. You're going to get this little playback button here. Sometimes you got to give it a minute to load. There we go. And if you right click here, you can select the day that you downloaded. Change the time to match up with whichever time you saw on your analyzer. In this case, one of the last trades on there was around 4:03. Yep, there looks like a drop on the 29th. Okay, perfect. So let's go ahead and make sure our strategy is enabled. If it's not, gotta change your account to playback. There we go, perfect. Alright. Now, I think we missed our point. If we look back, yeah. In 30 seconds. Okay, so at the 30-second mark, this should initiate our trade. Maybe. We'll see. Oh boy. Alright. Hang tight. Alright, so instead, let's try to give this a little more room to breathe. We'll come in at 402 and we're using a 30-second chart. So yeah, give it a little time. Loaded, strategy is enabled, perfect. So just hit play and cross our fingers. That yellow line crosses, that should initiate the trade. Although because the way we set it up, the strategy is looking back, it wouldn't be as soon as it crosses, but the bar afterwards. Alright, there we go. Beautiful. Can't remember if this trade comes out green or red, but just hang tight and take a look. And here we are. See how this one plays out. Alright. That's a loss. Let's see if we can find one that comes out positive. Looks like the same day at 9:33 a.m. we have another opportunity that presents itself. Let's see if we have any luck with this trade. And if it pops up. Alright, on second thought, let's actually go ahead and give ourselves a little bit of extra room to breathe. And we'll set this to 9:31 with 15 seconds. Make sure that our strategy is enabled. It is. And let's take a look and see how it does. Be nice and patient. I do have it going a little faster here, but alright. So this should be our bar here. So if that's the case, then we're enabled, and on the next bar we should have an entry, and that should be registering as a short trade. Oh boy, we're going pretty bullish on that green bar. This should be our entry. Our entry bar. Hey, look at that. How nice. Uh-oh. Alright, perfect. Just like the strategy played out. So the strategy analyzer said we have a winning trade. And it's matching up with the analyzer. Alright, this next part is probably my favorite of what you can do with the strategy analyzer. You're going to go right here and you're going to switch it from backtesting to optimization, and this is going to let you test different scenarios and pretty much compare and contrast our different inputs that we created in the beginning. That giggle was my daughter. So for this part here, essentially we're setting ranges where the inputs that we put before, their values are going to range between these two marks. So our EMA will test between 3 and 10 while shifting in integers of 1. Volume between 2,000 and 5,000. However, for the sake of the data and my computer not burning up, we're going to set $500 blocks. So it'll test 2,000, 2,500, 3,000, 3,500, and so on and so forth. For our profit targets, we'll do sets of 5, aiming between 20 and 80. And before you can run the analyzer, you do have to turn off your playback. It won't work with that. So we'll set up our rhythmic one more time. And then press run. This part typically takes a little while, but I'm going to go ahead and fast forward it for you. think this one took about 15 minutes total. All right, there we have it. So with these results, it looks like we're looking at a 78% profitability. Oh, said that wrong. And here are the values that it came up with: 1, 7, 5,000, 25, and 35. So we are actually risking a little bit more than what we're going to be profiting, but sitting at 78% is actually very impressive. Now, it's not just enough to build a good strategy, but when you back test it and you start gathering data on it, it's not even just about using the playback. You also have to take it and implement it in a live setting. If you're going to let something like this run all day, do you have a computer that can be on and running for 24 hours out of the day? And do you really think that your processor speed is going to be able to keep up with something like this? This is something, we use things like this to really help read price action. So when you see something like this happen in real time, you'll be ready to enter one of the trades. Having a strategy run on its own, though, you can do it, but you do need to make sure that you have the right type of equipment that's going to be able to keep up with NinjaTrader's software and different processes that it's going to be handling at that time. Alright, before I wrap up this video, I'm going to go ahead and upload another day, and we're going to take the final result here from the 29th, and we're going to go through our playback and see if we can actually backtest this and see if it's matching up with our analyzer. Going back to what I said before, any strategy that you build and any results you get from the analyzer, it's all fantastic, but it really does play out better if you could go back and really see these trades in action. Take the time. Don't build a good strategy and immediately put it on a funded account or trial account or a cash account. You're going to want to take your time. When it comes to trading, really the most important part is collecting data. We're looking for patterns, and we're seeing how those patterns play out in certain scenarios. It's not about being willy-nilly. That's more like gambling. But if we can identify certain opportunities, we can find profitable moments. Alright, let's take a look. Beautiful. So here's our updated numbers, and when we upload our day, it looks like it is matching up with our analyzer. It's a great look. So if I was going to look at a strategy like this one, I would definitely take maybe the next month and continue to look for opportunities that present themselves, catch a few, as many as I can in a live scenario, maybe with a sim account, and I'd go from there. But these results look very good. Alright, and that'll do it. If you're interested in the raw code for this or a slightly enhanced version, I'll have my contact below. I do always like to take these strategies and just see what they can be scaled up to. You can understand that the results that we have are only trading with one contract. For example, here, what if we were to switch it to 10? Maybe when you hit certain profit targets, you decide to up the ante and add contracts to it. So let's take a look here. If we had 10 contracts instead of just one, starting January 1st through the end of February, we'd be up a little bit over 18,000. Wow. That'd be amazing, but like I said before, there's a lot of extra backtesting to run through. Alright, and that'll do it for this episode. Stay tuned next time, and until then, happy trading.